thing.
You Illawarra! Illawarra! And people don't believe in Wollongong, doubt us all year. You better start believing because we'll be back next year.
Ball driving. 7 seconds left. He pulls the trigger. Big shot taker. Big shot maker. Tyler Harvey enormous.
Yes, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Hawks Hangout, your one-stop shop for everything Hawks-related content. Corey, we're back at it. It's been huge. It's a huge episode to get behind. Big, massive shout-out, as always, Principal Brewing, Enable You to 18th Dynasty, and Toddy Blanchfield. Happy birthday, Golden Boy.
Hey, Toddy.
Shoot it the lights out tonight against Cairns. We're filming this Friday, 7th of November. 3 games to review. Corey, what else have we got in store?
Yeah, so we're going to look at those games that we've just played. New Zealand Breakers review, Adelaide review, the bounce back game against Melbourne United in the Ignite Cup. We'll do a little Cairns preview of tonight's game, and then we'll do our segment, Are You Serious?
Bang.
So firstly, though, we're going to look at that New Zealand Halloween disaster, the massacre. It was a horror show. I can't think of any other words to use, but it was absolutely disgraceful. The Hawks getting their biggest defeat ever of all time by 42 points. I was sitting there thinking to myself, I actually don't think we've ever lost by this much. It was actually like watching men play against under 12 boys.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it felt like watching. They were just super aggressive, New Zealand. I'm not taking anything away from New Zealand. They were outstanding. They played with determination. They played with skill. They played with speed. They played with purpose. Everything they did for a reason. They were getting 2 feet in the paint and either looking to score or kick out, and then they were hitting the threes if they kicked it out. While we were like driving it in, looking slow, looking like, and then missing layups. It was just a real, I remember sitting there saying to everyone, we just look really slow. We'd go up the court and be like, okay, yeah, and just look really predictable, and it just didn't flow, and it ended up being 102 to 60, and it was very hard to watch. What do you think?
The stat that came out at the end of the game, that was the biggest loss in Hawks history in 48 years of the club being around, and in the 800 and something home games it was. Matt Russell was on fire with that question in the press conference. It was the largest home loss in Hawks history, and against the bottom feeders.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. That's probably what hurt. That New Zealand are down the bottom of the table and they actually pumped us. I'd actually like to hear what's the biggest loss for any team at home in the history of the NBL.
Probably us. I'm just going to go out and say it now.
I don't know if it'd be much more. It would have to be pretty close. I can't imagine a team losing at home by 50 before. But one thing that stood out to me, looking at the stats, we've not won a quarter over 2 games against New Zealand this year. I know sometimes matchups can be key in basketball especially, and sometimes teams just feel really good or the matchups just suit them, and that could just be the way. Last year it seemed like that with Adelaide for us, and also Cairns. Cairns really gave us some trouble last year. They just felt really comfortable and confident against us, and maybe that's New Zealand. They've only won 3 games. 2 of them have been against us, and both hammerings. So in 8 quarters, not to win a quarter, it's pretty devastating. I think do we have to play them 1 more time or 2 more times?
I think they're one of the teams that we've got against 4 times. I think we've got 1 more New Zealand towards the back end of the year, and we've got 1 in the December, January stretch of home games.
Okay, well, that's a little bit of a worry, but we're going to move on. I think we're going to move on from New Zealand.
There's no point.
There's
no
just
point.
Way too much negative. I'm not going to lie. I was saying some things at the end of that game, how can you bounce back from that? This looks like this season could be a really bad season. And then best thing probably was that we had another game. Rather than going and having training and wanting to get out there again and prove yourself, it was 1 day rest and then bang, you're over to Adelaide playing against a top-notch team who's at the top of the table. And the Hawks put on a really good display.
Yeah.
They turned up. They had a crack. I personally thought they should have won. I got a little bit disappointed at the end of the game with some messaging back and forth. Sam was like, well, it's not 42, it's only 2. And I'm like, well, it's still a loss. Like at the end of the day, it's just still a loss. And it was frustrating because I really felt we could have won that game. Hickey had some free throws with not much time left that could have leveled it. He actually hit all his free throws before that, but just unfortunately couldn't get it done. What do you think?
Oh, look, it was a bounce back game, and I really enjoyed the effort and seeing the boys out there playing the similar style of basketball that we're used to before then eventuating into what was arguably probably the greatest win that I've seen in my time being a Hawks fan. And I'm not just saying that because it was against Melbourne, but purely for the fact that they've gone back to what's working for them. Why change what works? And it's what Tatum said in the press conference. Why change what works? That's what we kept doing before. Now that we've got pieces back that we needed back, we're not going to change what works. Obviously, yes, starters will come in and out as we try and solidify that starting 5. But why change what works defensively and offensively? And it was proven in both of these games. McGee went off for an absolute blinder again. QJ still had a little bit of teething problems. Just again, it was his second game being in the league.
It's tough for him.
It's tough.
He pretty much got off the plane. Like probably had one training session was in against New Zealand, and then one more day, and then he's playing again. So it's like pretty tough. And the games are coming like pretty thick and fast. But looking at some stats, like Hickey was back, like in a big way.
Vintage.
In that New Zealand game, he looked like frustrated and annoyed and angry and not quite there. But in the Adelaide game, he was back to his normal self, like getting other players involved, driving, finishing, even hitting a couple of threes. Like hit one big one in the corner that got us really close. But near triple-double, like 20 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. Outstanding performance. He has flirted with so many triple-doubles. Surely he's going to get one this year. It's just on the cards. But he was the difference. Like he came out, he made McGee look a little bit better as well. McGee had a great game as well with 17, 11, and 6. What else did you think? What some other impressive performances from you?
The blocks in that as well. Like Hickey had 4 blocks for a guy of his size and a guy of his demeanor. He was absolutely hounding them like the dog, Davo dog that he is.
McGee's got to watch out. He might not lead the league in blocks anymore. Davo's coming for you.
McGee still averaging the insane amount of 2.5 blocks or whatever he's got at the moment. I think it's teetering towards that 2.5 blocks at the moment. But in that game, I think he had 3 or something again in that game. It was absolutely outstanding. Blanchfield going back, turning back the clock. Birthday boy, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists was huge help to get in there, getting the work done and really sharing the ball. Like the assist numbers in the last 2 games, especially this one and the Melbourne United game, have really lifted that Hawks spirit and really lifted the unpredictability, I guess. We came in and it was, okay, it's going to McGee. It's going to McGee. Harvey needs the ball because we're down points. It's going to go to Harvey. So let's double team Harvey. But we're going to have everyone else double because McGee's down in the paint, and then we're going to leave other people open. But because they haven't been given the ball, they're not going to shoot. So
we just had, I feel like we had a lot better balance. I think like looking back at that New Zealand game, we started with the young fella again, Jackson Ball, Pete Ling, Wani, and then Harvey and McGee. And New Zealand just were like, we're going to hound Harvey and McGee. And then the other 3 great players, but not necessarily like super offensively minded. And to start a game, they weren't really, and they just caught us off guard. Before we knew it, we're down like 21-6 or something. So changing that starting lineup, I think, just to have a couple more offensive threats to start the game, I think is really important. And I'm not going to lie, I was super disappointed. I thought that was one we could have stole off Adelaide. Like you've said in the past, we haven't beaten Adelaide. So
since 2023, I think it's been
like
something
Tatum, might be the only team he hasn't beaten. So it's been like, that would have been nice to get that win and against Cotton as well. But unfortunately we didn't. And I was like, man, what are we, 2-6? It's a long way back to getting back to like 500 record of like 6-6 or something. It's a long way back from that. And then we came Ignite Cup, Wednesday night, probably our lowest crowd the Hawks have had for a long time, which is understandable because their season ticket wasn't part of the season ticket. You had to pay extra.
Yeah.
And I would make the prediction that maybe half the members took on and said, we'll pay the extra, while the other half said, I'm not going to do it. Being a Wednesday night, school night, so forth. Totally understand that. But the crowd was loud. And it was that grand final rematch atmosphere was back. I'm not going to lie. I was disappointed that Melbourne lost to Sydney because I predicted the last episode we would be the first team to beat Melbourne. We'd turn it on and turn up. We still got the job done. I loved it, but it would have been nice if we were the first ones. And now they've gone back-to-back losses, and we actually have made them look a little bit average. And the Sydney game was at least close, and they had their chances to win that. They were never really in this game.
No.
I think the closest they got it was maybe
8,
maybe 6 or something.
Yeah.
But whenever they got it, we just went bang and got it back out to 10 or 11 straight away. There was not like any nervous sort of times.
It was down to 20 at one stage. It was,
and it was just such a good atmosphere in there. Some incredible performances. What did you think?
It was about 3 and some change. I think it was about 3,000 people and some change. We obviously, with our season tickets, had the option. We could get one game and then we could pay for the other, or we could choose which game we paid for, or we could pay for the extra game.
Yeah.
So we've obviously got the New Year's Eve game at home against Southeast Melbourne. So that will be the other one that we've got, the different things with this.
Interesting to see, because how many go to that, because that was traditionally, and we've spoken about this before, a lock in the season ticket holder that you'd be one of the home games would be the
New Year's Eve
game. And so now that that's not, it's going to be interesting to see, are we not going to have as many members at that game? Will the crowd be a little bit lower? I hope not, because the New Year's Eve games it's like a traditional game for the Hawks. It'd be great to see people there. But talk to me about your man MV McGee, or whatever you call him. He was spectacular.
Old mate MVG, JaVale McGee. There was a stat that came out today, Corey, and I don't know if you've seen it. It is the first time someone has scored 37 points and 14 rebounds in about 16 years. It was 2009, the last time someone scored over 30 points and over 14 rebounds.
Another stat I heard too, I don't know if you've heard this might freak you out. 37 points is the most points McGee scored in any game in his professional career.
So that's what I ended up saying to him in the press conference. So that was my question in the press conference. If you didn't get to watch it, for all of those listening, go and watch it. It was a great press conference. They had some really good questions. I had Olgun Ulick in front of me trying to steal the limelight the entire time, trying to ask silly, stupid questions to McGee if he's, if his age catches up with him in the full court.
Ageist,
yeah.
Olgun.
If his age was catching up with him in the full court press play that the Hawks like to play and running the fast tempo. And he's like, what, am I not a full court player? Do I not excel in the full court press that we're playing? The numbers speak for itself. And again, double king is absolutely smashing it. But yeah, as I said to him in the interview, in the press conference, it's the most points he has ever scored in his career. It was his best performance by far. That's crazy. Almost 1,000 NBA games, 3 NBA championships, plus all of the games that he's played in Puerto Rico, where he's won his 4th championship.
Yeah. So that blew my mind. That's crazy. And I don't know if it was just professional career or even college career or whatever.
No, but career in general.
Wow, that's crazy. So, but very special performance, 37 and 14. He had some really special moments in that game. I won't go into too many because a couple will come in another segment later. But Hickey again, triple-double watch. 18, 7, 7, and another couple of blocks. He beat McGee in the blocks again, 2 games in a row. Then Harvey again, really solid, back 17, 4 and 2. Wani, and he got a big shout out from the coach, had a really nice and efficient game. He's doing that 50, 40, 90, which people like
very hard to do.
Very hard to do. It just shows high level of efficiency. He can shoot the ball at all the different levels at a high rate, which is really tough to do, and not many players do it. It was sort of a Steve Nash sort of a thing that and Mark Price back in the day was the sort of guy who be able to build those numbers. So it's not easy to do. And 14 and 4 from him, because one is often like you just don't really see too much from him on the offensive end because he just seems to use a lot of energy on the defensive end.
Yeah.
And you saw a little bit of it from Gritter. Gritter got a lot of a role on Bryce Cotton in that Adelaide game. And his total focus was Bryce Cotton. I absolutely loved it. He said, I don't care. I'm sacrificing myself on the offensive end. I'm following that bloke around. And there was one time Bryce Cotton in the backcourt was tying his shoelaces up, and Gritter still stood there and watched him tie his shoelaces. I'm not leaving you, buddy, he said. And I actually absolutely loved it. But you could see it was taking it out of Gritter. Every time they had a timeout, he was sort of huffing and puffing. But I just love the fact that he did what was needed for the team. May not come up on the stats. And that happens with Wani a lot as well. Like sometimes you look at his stats and it might be like a few points, not many rebounds, not many assists, but like the effort he's putting on to try and slow another player down is incredible. And so for him to contribute 14 points is huge. 4 rebounds, great. Peatley, another double-figure performance. Blanchfield didn't score, but had 8 rebounds. Like we had a shortened rotation of about 7 players really who played significant minutes, which is a little bit un-Hawk-like, but I guess because Bolden was out, that's what I'm looking for. But talk us through QJ's performance, mate.
Oh,
that was let's go, baby.
Yeah.
That's what we needed.
We needed him to step up and fill that. And that's what you want off the bench.
Yeah.
He's basically become the replaceable Davo. He's done exactly what the Hawks have asked him to do. He's filled that spot off the bench and provided that spark for that second unit. And I love saying spark because we've got Sparkle Narkle in there. And if he just gets on and he gets fire, he's going to be locked and loaded. But 11, 7, and 7
Huge.
From QJ. Again, flirting with the triple-double almost.
Incredible.
With 3 performances off the bench. Like, it's near Hickey-like. And that combination with the 3 of them on the court, plus Wani, plus then I think they usually have Todd then playing the floor with McGee playing the 5. It's actually a really solid lineup when they're on.
They mixed the lineups up a little bit. Sometimes they had the lineup a little bit more defense orientated. Other time we look at the lineup and you go, oh, we're like super offensive here. Like anyone can score. But my favorite thing about QJ in that game, and I like looking at little things because I know you can make a lot out of little things. So there was a moment he drove it in and he had this little floater and it was like an air ball. And he wasn't happy with himself. And sometimes like players just drop their head and then it affects the next 2-3 plays. He gets back down the court and they got it into the big man. I think Edwards inside and he sort of fumbled, but he got there and he went for the ball and he was like aggressive and it was a jump ball and ended up being our possession because on the alternate possession. Like that was a huge play. Like make a mistake, come in and make up for it. Like don't sit back and feel sorry for yourself. Get in there and make the next play count. Forget about the play before. You just got to move on to the next one. It's not like what happened that matters. It's how you react to it. And exactly what he did. His reaction was great. And that's what Hawks fans love in their players. So if he brings that every single game, he's going to be a crowd favourite. He's already a good-looking rooster. So I know the girls are already loving on him. If he can just make sure he gets these sorts of numbers on a regular basis, all right, even the boys are going to start loving him. Yeah. So he's just like he's something special about him. Looking at his stats again, I really feel he's going to have at least one explosive offensive game where he catches 5. He gets back-to-back threes in. I think he's going to be like one of those guys who could shoot it with his eyes closed and it'll go in, or he could have a guy in his face and he can hit. He seems that type of player. Yeah. He got of his 11 points, 6 are at the line. So he hasn't still really had that game where he's from the field. But what I loved was the 7 rebounds and the 7 assists. Huge double-figure points. Don't care how you get them. But I think he will have a game this season where he does explode. I sort of said the same thing about Darius Days last year.
Yeah.
And he did have games where he helped us. I think there was a comeback game last year and he just caught fire towards the end.
Got like 4 threes in a row.
Yeah. And caught, made us come back. I think we may have ended up losing the game.
It was the Adelaide game.
Adelaide. And we were struggling. And then I think we were down by like 20 or something. And we got it back and he went bang, 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 bang. And it was like, we could somehow steal this game. Unfortunately, it didn't go away. But that, I think QJ's got that in him.
Ability, yeah.
And I think, that's what's exciting. But great to get 6 points in the Ignite Cup after getting 0 against New Zealand. So I don't know where I've looked at the table, but I don't know where it sits us. But there's still 2 more games.
We could be there in February on the Gold Coast. It'll be a great bender weekend on the Goldie, mate.
That'd be
I can
great.
tell you that right
Who
now.
else have we got in the Ignite Cup? Who are the other 2 teams? Do you know off the top of your head? Or that's
Our
a
next
tough
one
question.
is Southeast Melbourne at home.
in the New Year's Eve, and then we'll have one later on.
I don't know if it's later on or if it's before that, and I can't remember who it's against, but we definitely do have one more away and one more home. And it puts us roughly around 5th or 6th in there on that big
Has
ladder
everyone
as
played
well.
2 games?
Everyone's played 2 games so far.
Okay, so if everyone's played
Perth
2 games.
is like blown it out with 13 points.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're right at the top.
Okay, so they're going to be favourites to like get to the final.
Yeah.
Okay, but who's second? What's the points for the team coming second?
Don't quote me on it. Believe it's either Adelaide or Melbourne.
Okay. Well, Melbourne only got 1 in this game, so
yeah, I think they won the other game. I think they're on 5, so it's probably Southeast Melbourne. It wouldn't surprise me if it's the Southeast Melbourne.
Okay.
But in this game,
it's exciting. Like it's a cool concept. New Zealand must be out there too, because New Zealand are the king.
I think so. Yeah.
Of those games. So, but still got 2 more games. If we can build some more points up, who knows what's going to happen? But let's look at the Cairns preview tonight, mate. I'm going to say to start, Cairns are our bogey team, and last year they were pretty horrendous with their record, but they beat us twice when we were the champions. And I'm not going to lie, I'm concerned tonight because the Hawks this year have not been able to go bang, bang and get back-to-back wins. And sometimes coming off a high against beating the team who's on top of the table, you can sort of cruise into a venue thinking, this is going to be easy. If the Hawks go in with that attitude, I can tell you Cairns are going to make us look silly. They do have players, and you know what happens. Every team likes to find form against the Hawks. So I can see McVeigh going off. I can see that guy, Andrew Andrews, who I haven't really rated, having a big game.
Name.
Like, so good they named him twice, eh? I can see like players having big games, like and Rain Smith, he can shoot the 3. Like it just seems to happen like when teams play against us, if they're in a bit of a funk, they can get out of it. So if the Hawks don't turn up, like really, McGee is a tough matchup for them. They've basically only got Marcus Lee as a big man.
Yeah.
He does traditionally love to foul. I don't think he's the same quality as McGee. But I don't want us to be too McGee focused, because when we've been like that before,
it collapses.
And if they start, and Cairns will be like, Ford's a smart coach. He'll be like double every time it goes down low, and people will be looking to strip it off him. We need to. McGee's a good passer. Like kick it out. Like we need to play, but we need to come with energy and be like as desperate as we were against Melbourne, because all that hard work and that such a great performance against Melbourne is what the position that we're in now is wasted if we don't turn up and play tonight, because 3 and 6 is okay. 4 and 6 is a lot better, and it starts making us believe 3 and 7.
Yeah,
like
it's not.
It's almost getting to the stage where it's like it's getting too far away from us. So this is a big game.
Yeah, it's a massive game. And just looking back at some stats from Melbourne, you had 7 players. Obviously, Dan Greeter went out and had a concussion, only playing 3 minutes in that game. So a big, massive shout out to him. And I hope he's okay, and I hope he's back soon. Obviously, Bolden's still out, but Wiley only playing 4 minutes in that game. But a very solid performance from all of those 7 players that got in, got the job done. And then obviously everyone else getting on at the end of that. So you ended up seeing Kobe come on. Yeah. Luca, my boy, shout out to Luca. Ended up coming on, missing a little floater right in front of me, and he's filthy. No, he's filthy with himself that he's missed that. And I didn't tell him it, but I've got it on film, mate.
Because it would have been deja vu. He got the
winning dunk against Melbourne,
in the grand final to
I think I jinxed him with the post that we did.
And it would have been great for him just to hit that and be like, oh, this is just like making Melbourne feel like, oh, geez, it's happening again.
We're reliving it again. But 25 from 27 from the line. We beat them at the line. They only went to the line 18 times, and they shot 7 from 18, I think it was.
We got cheeseburgers from Edwards.
We got cheeseburgers. I think we ended up getting double cheeseburgers. They missed it again, which unfortunately you don't get another cheeseburger, but they missed it again later on in the game. And we ended up getting double cheeseburgers, as I like to say. But the really impressive one, and they have finally found form, because in the New Zealand game, they weren't too bad. And then the Adelaide game, they were absolutely woeful, and they shot 2 from 20 or something like that. It was absolutely woeful, and they lost by 2. But in this game, 12 from 22 threes. It was across the board for the threes. We absolutely handed their asses to them.
And our man, JaVale.
Oh,
nailing the three.
That was the nail in the coffin. That was his. He was at 34. He hits the 3. Bang, bang, bang in the air.
I said to my young fella, if he gets 40, I'll get a JaVale McGee tattoo. And he got subbed off. Lucky. I was lucky. I was saved.
Another shit tattoo and another shit iced tea.
I was saved. I was saved.
55% almost. It's 54.5% from the 3. That is much better from the Hawks. But the really, really, really interesting one on the flip side of that is holding the flop himself to 5 points. Wani,
so good.
QJ, Bawali, and my man Davo. Everyone that ended up squaring up against Chris Goulding on Wednesday at the WEC, and the fans. I think the fans helped him with that too. They didn't start him, which I don't know if that's new. I haven't really watched Melbourne games that much.
I have, and I think that's what's happening. He didn't play the start of the year, so I don't know whether he's still sort of easing back into the season. Please. But he didn't look. Please. He looked ordinary.
Please don't give me that shit. He's a professional basketball player. He's played for Australia.
He's coming towards the end of his career. I don't know whether they're like, this is like, I don't know how many more seasons he's got. He can still play, and he has already this season put up better numbers so I loved it. Only 5 points.
5 points, 2 fouls. We fouled out.
It was so good.
Fouled out Rob Baker towards the end there, and that dude had a blinder of a game. He had a double-double. He had 19 and 11, and then ended up getting fouled out. Edwards, sorry, not Baker.
He was really good.
Edwards
that takes as well, because I would have thought, I was thinking this is probably going to be McGee's toughest matchup.
Yeah.
And I thought Edwards was really good, but McGee to get 37, that probably helped that with some foul trouble, and the backups weren't as strong and allowed McGee to. But I thought it was a really good matchup, and McGee did great. But let's move on to our...
Mate, this Cairns game,
it's going to be big.
I think the one thing that the Hawks have got to be worried about, as you said, yes, okay, these players can start shooting the lights out and they can have games and all the rest of it. But Cairns, I think we have mentioned it before in this podcast where they fall into this static offense, and if Andrew Andrews is on fire, that's it. No one else will get on fire because the ball is in his hands, and that's it. He's not passing it to everyone else. If Jack McVay's on fire, that's it. He's
their
not passing
defense
to
hasn't been great, but the thing is, my biggest concern is complacency from the Hawks. If they come in complacent, there's no easy games in the NBL. That's no cupcake league. We all know that. And it's like, if you come in and you don't have the right attitude, that's my biggest fear. And I feel like similar to how we came in at home against Melbourne, we came in and were like, we're getting this. So Melbourne were a bit shocked. Yeah. And we got them. I'm fearing the reverse. Cairns coming in at home, they got walloped at home, I think, last time they played, and being like, let's take it out on the champions. And every team's capable of beating anyone else on the day if you don't turn up. So you just need the Hawks to turn up. But we're going to finish, mate, with our world famous segment now.
It is world famous. And for those of you that aren't following, it is going absolutely viral at the moment, the Are You Serious from last week.
Are you serious? Is it really?
Absolutely, mate. There's no bullshit behind that.
So I'm going to give you a bunch of nominations. Because there's been a bunch of games. There's a lot of nominations. And you have to tell me what is your Are You Serious moment of the week or the episode. So first one, the 42-point hammering at home against New Zealand Breakers. Now, that was a really, are you serious, what the hell type of moment.
I think it hurt because we witnessed it in person.
It did hurt.
And the effort, I was like, oh my God. I'm like, my men's Div 2 team can play better defense than this.
Yeah,
I've got more effort, and I'm a horrible player.
Yeah, it was concerning to watch.
Oh yeah.
So that's the first. The next one is the Code Sport reporting that there is an apparent feud between Hickey and McGee. They were not really getting on, and there was a moment where they Hickey challenged him and so forth. You know what? Like, you can try to report whatever, try to put us off our game. I think that could be motivation.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, I don't mind that. If reporters think that doesn't happen in professional teams all the time, they're naive and stupid, because it happens all the time. I'll make a comparison. You think the Brisbane Broncos at the start of this NRL season, where everyone was saying they are absolutely horrendous, they looked like they didn't want to play for each other, they were disgusting, that they were hopeless with the squad they had. Then what happened at the end of the year? They turned it around and won it, and at the end of it, they all thought they were best mates. So, and I'm telling you, at some stage in that season, they would have been having a go at each other and looking at each other and saying, things need to change, because if we don't, we're going to waste all this talent and go nowhere. And so sometimes those are the things that need to happen. Like, they're all professionals. If you can't cop a little bit of in-your-face criticism to get you on your game, well, you shouldn't really be playing at this level. So, Coach Sports, I might be saying thank you very much at the end of the season, but that's my next "Are you serious?" moment. Next one, Hickey, love ya, the deadly love bite. But with 0.6 of a second or 1.6 seconds left, he had 2 free throws that could have got us to OT against Adelaide and get that monkey off our back. He missed the first one and had to obviously deliberately miss the second one to give us some hope.
There was a foul. Anyway, there was a foul in that, but sure.
Next "Are you serious?" moments bring a smile to my face, making the Melbourne United look very, very average after a 9-0 start. We made them look very, very average and made all the other teams in the league think, oh, this championship is definitely up for grabs.
Oh, yeah.
That was my next "Are you serious?" moment. Next "Are you serious?" moment is the connection that's starting to develop between Hickey and McGee. I'm going to call it the Vale McHickey. All right, I'm going to call it that. I'm telling you, it's starting to. There's a couple of plays. That play where he drove it in and passed it, and then McGee went reverse and bang, dunk, quality. Another one where he drove in like his little slow motion, popped it up, alley-oop, dunk. The connection's starting to get there, and you can see that feud might have been what they needed. That's the next "Are you serious?" man. You told me this, I was like, wow. This kid started 2 games in the NBL. Now he's gone back to New Zealand to finish his exams. Are you serious? Jackson Ball, 17 years old, starting the NBL. Now he's in his school uniform doing some exams. He's going to miss how many games?
I believe from the press conference after that game, it wasn't this home game. It was the last home game that we got blown out by. And yeah, I think his coach said it was about 5 games.
5.
Roughly.
Are you serious? Anyway, next and the final one. Melbourne United at the end of the game after getting absolutely hammered. And that's, every team knows that when you're at home, you go to the centre of the court to do your cheer. They try to come in and bulldoze our centre court celebration. What the hell? Are you absolutely serious? Now, what is, out of those moments, your "Are you serious?" moment of the week?
And Corey, avid fans of us might be thinking, oh my God.
Avid fans, we sure don't have many avid fans.
Oh, we do. Trust me. There's a few avid fans out there. I'm not going to name names because I'm going to get a whole bunch of backlash in a second if I start naming names. But for me and for all of the avid fans, you might be thinking, oh my God, where's Flog Watch? We're tying in Flog Watch this week because my one, and it's for the biggest flogs out there, but Melbourne United, M United, the munted of all munted clubs, munted players, all the rest of it. Really? Are you serious? It is the "Are you serious?" moment. Let's be real. Are you serious? Like, you've been absolutely thrashed. You've got the championship banner that you've lost twice now. May I remind you, twice in a row.
It's up there for them to look at.
Up over your heads, right down at the end of where your bench is sitting, mind you. So you're looking at it the entire time. Your captain went 1 from 6 from 3 because he thought he could flop his way and look like an absolute clown on the court. Not happening anymore, mate. The refs are catching on to you. It's not happening absolutely anymore. You went 2 from 8 in the game for 5 points and 2 fouls. And then you think your team has the right to stand in our centre court.
It was just disrespectful and not necessary. You're 9-2. You're still on top of the ladder. Show some professionalism. Show that it didn't really affect you. Move on and say in your head, we're still... And that's the thing. Can I be honest with you? I've said that's why I think Melbourne are the championship favourites all season long, is because they don't usually get really fired up about things. Like they go in, get the job done, walk off. Like that's the sort of players they have. It was actually quite un-Melbourne like what they did. It was, have we got into their heads? Are we living rent-free in their heads now? Because that's what it seemed to come across, because they have not done that all season. Even when they've won games, they haven't carried on.
No.
They just don't get too high in the highs or low on the lows, but this really seemed to hurt them. So
good.
It's
good.
It's
I
good,
love
but-
it. I
and
absolutely love it.
That is-
especially when we meet Melbourne and especially when we beat Sydney. Like, there's nothing better than beating either of those clubs. But
we've
that's
got
our
Sydney
flog.
coming up. That's it.
It's- and it's at home as well. Xavier Cooks, Jalen Adams, Dellavedova. If you're listening to this,
Just give us our cheeseburgers now.
just try and stop us, okay? Just try and stop us. Don't stand in our mid-court,
Did you
because I
say
can tell.
Adams or Kendrick Davis?
Well, Jalen Adams, Kendrick Davis, they're both the exact same person anyway.
Oh,
They both play as absolutely dog shit as each other with this
Oh,
current day
Hawks.
and age. You're not team
You're
players.
firing them up, mate. You're firing them up.
I don't need to fire anyone up. The only people that are fired up here are you and I.
Let's go.
Because Corey,
The game's
it's
on.
game night.
It is.
We've got half an hour until tip off. Episode is going to wrap up. It's been a huge week for the Hawks.
Yep.
Huge week for the Hawks. But we're back. We're back in the winner's circle.
Hopefully, this is a big game tonight.
This is a big game. If we win this one, we've then got one more away game. Then we come back home
It's the Queens.
against the Sydney Queens. And there will be nothing more than watching my beloved Hawks, our beloved Hawks, your beloved Illawarra
Continue the
Hawks,
streak against the
25 champions, continue their undefeated. That'll be an 8-0 record against the Kings. An
That'll be
8-0
huge.
record.
That'll be huge. And it seems to go in streaks, because before that, I think they beat us about 6 times in a row. But before we do our sign-off, mate, I just want to do a quick little shout-out. Today, I took my son to TikTok, Instagram famous Will Green, Cuts by Greenie. All right. What a legend. Super impressive kid. Gave him his best haircut he's ever had. He's got a smile from ear to ear. He's absolutely loving life. So big shout out to Greenie. If you don't know him, follow him on TikTok or Instagram, Cuts by Greenie. Does a great job. Young entrepreneur doing great things. And he spoke really, really well to Carter and myself. Really impressive young man. So check him out.
Yeah, he's absolutely killing it. If you haven't seen him already, if you're not a Wollongong native watching this, go and watch him. He's absolutely killing it. He started this when he was about 13 or 14, and he's absolutely killing it. And he doesn't charge you much, but what you get in return is what Illawarra is about. So if you're ever in the Illawarra, you need a fresh, absolutely beautiful trim, go and check him out. I'm heading there next week because this head is an absolute mugshot and a half, as you all like to say. But Corey, that's all we've got for this episode of the Hawks Hangouts. Again, Principal Brewing, enable you to 18th Dynasty. Thank you as always. And thank you to every single one of you for liking, following, and subscribing. Corey, it's been a pleasure, like always. I'm going to go sit, drink a beer, watch our Hawks demolish the Cairns Taipans, and you can't tell me otherwise. But as always, guys, fly you Hawks.
Fly!
Woo!